and EC1 class, sorry, EC2 class A batch student. Again, I repeat, only EC2 class A batch student is join the lab. If you have another lab batch, please verify your batch and join as per your respective subject. So let's quickly go through the overview regarding last lecture where we learn a basic tag and then we move to our current topic. So now in last lecture where we go through some text formatting tag where we learn bold tag, how we represent the font into the bold, then after italic, then underline, then how we generate a paragraph, then after next tag a BR, break the line. So these are the common tag that we call for the text formatting. It means where you have to represent as per your requirement for the specific font, either bold, either italic, either underline, or you can also generate a paragraph as well as break the line. Then after we see the tag that is a font tag. Now in a font tag where we learn three attribute. One, size, you can resize your font as per your requirement. Like a size 1, so it is a too small, and size 7, so it is the maximum larger size. Next attribute that is a font face, so where you can apply a different style regarding font. And third, that is regarding a font color. Now color, we have a two method. One, you can directly write down the color name like red, green, blue as per your requirement. And another method that you represent hexadecimal, where you have to represent hex, then after the 6 alphabet, or we can say a number combinations. And that is input like 0 to 9 or either alphabet A to F. And it is the combination of RGB method, red, green and blue. Then you also see the one property that is called a background color. You can set also background color as well as the font color. Then after next we see the link tag. It means for example, one page to you have to redirect some another page. So now then you can use a tag, and there we have a like href, that is the meaning of a hypertext reference, where you have to provide it address of the specific web page. If user click on label, so it's a redirect to that web page. That is examples. Next we see image tag, where you can insert the image. That's why you have to write down the image name with that extension. So that is a represent image. So these are the quick revision for the last lectures. So now as we discussed in end of the last week, okay, where we insert the image, then after we also resize the image as per our requirement. So where we use a two attribute, one we called a width and second that we called a height. It means based on the width and height, we also resize, or we can say adjust that image as per our requirement. Now my screen is visible, browser and HTML file. Thank you, student. So we have one announcement. Saturday, I have dropped one message in your WhatsApp group where you have to join a Google Classroom regarding the workshop subject. So again, I repeat, you have to join that Google Classroom where we discuss about that lab manual, that syllabus. Also, we share the e-content as well as your all submission that you have to providing in a soft copy in a Google Classroom. So now all student, I request to compulsory to join with Institute email ID that Google Classroom. And if you are facing any issue, so just put message into the chat box. Again, I repeat, I request to all students to upload, join the Google Classroom with Institute email ID. Okay, there is a one comment. I don't have an email ID. Those students have new join. So just they have wait for 1 or 2 days. And after the 1 or 2 days, you not get any email ID response. Then you contact to your class counselor. Now the student have questions, but it's asking the password of institute ID that you can check for your institute login, where you have to compulsory login with your browser, where you can get one pop-up menu, so where you can get your institute email ID as well as that default password. Now any other student have query regarding the joining of Google Classrooms? So let's we move to our continue take. Yes, it's not showing application. You have to log in with browser, not Android application. It's not showing in Android application. You have to log in with any browser through Marwadi website where you can get it. Login.marwaduniversity.ac.in website where you have to provide your roll number and password. Then you can get it. Should we have to open it now? No, it's not required right now to open that. So let's we continue with image take. The tag that we have img, short form image, then src, that is the source file address. So now as per the output, you can see I have write down image src gtu logo 1.png. So where you can get that image, you can easily see that output. Now as we discussed, you can also resize your image with a two attribute, width as well as the height. So let's we go for that example. Like I was said, width equal to 100 as well as height equal to 100, and your input that would be represented to the pixel, or either you can go for that percentage also. So we use a two input where one directly write down, so that is understand as a pixel, or if you put the last percentage, so that is based on the image size that represent into the that percentage area wise. So now these are the attribute that we discuss, width and height. Now the width that is represent, as I said, both either XX, so that is the meaning of a regular pixel, or you can use a sign of the percentage. So both way you can change it. Same way to height, again both pixel as well as the that percentage. So now you can see the output. I have said width equal to 100, height equal to 100. It's a too small. So again, like if you increase it, You can also change your pixel as per your requirement. Again, you can see it's a larger. Like that is the perfect height. Now also you can increase the width. So that is the way you can adjust your image as per the width and height. So that is two property that we understand regarding the image. Now again, one more important, as we discussed in last lab, if your image as well as a actual file should be available in same locations, you can directly write down that image name. But if your image it's available on another location, then you have to provide it your entire path, like we discussed about D double colon, then after like ABC folder, then after maybe CD folder, and that file will be available. So again, I repeat, your image file, it's not available in the same locations. You have to provide it actual path. But if available in the same location, you can directly write down that file name with extension. You can see the here, my HTML file as well as the logo file, both available should be in the same locations. So now as we discussed, you can also insert a multiple image. Like you can say I have another MU logo, that also like I have to upload it. So first of all, I will check that extensions file tag. So that is again a PNG as well as that file name. Like we go through image src is equal to mu.png. So now you can see the two image it will be added. It means as per the requirement, you can insert many more images, and also you can resize with width as well as the height as per your requirement. There is one question, sir. We have to use the image tag after the sentence which we have to return, and how the image show before the sentence. Okay, I'll just remove that sentence, or after the sentence that we represent. Just let's we check it. Like that sentence I put into the comment. So now that is the output without text as per the comment by Ayush. I hope you get the answer. Without sentence, how it's look like output. Again, one more thing, whatever input you take into the HTML, it's by default start from your left hand side. Left to right, it's always represent. So let's we go for another attribute. Now the next attribute, that is a border. You can also set the border outside the images. Sorry, outside the images, you also set the border, and that input again you take into the pixel. And default border, it will be generated as a black. So let's we check that output, how it's look like. Like I was said, border equal to 10. So now you can see the 10 pixel size, the border it generated to a GTU logo. So that is the attribute. You can also set in a image as per the your requirement. And 10 that is represent as a pixel. Like same way to if we also take for in MU logo. Here we set for like a 5 pixel. So now you can easily compare the both thickness. In MU logo we set a 5, but in GTU so it's a double because we set as a 10 pixel. So that is the attribute that we call for the border that we also easily set it. So let's we go for the next attribute. Now the next attribute that is the edge space. Now meaning of edge space, where you can meaning of edge, so that is put a horizontal space starting from the left hand side of your image. And same way we have a alternate that we called a V space. So here the meaning of V, that is a vertical space. Also you can put from image from top of the your browser. Now again I repeat the edge space. So that is the represent a horizontal where start from the left hand side you can put a space, and meaning of V space where you can put from vertical around the image. So let's we take that edge space equal to like we set 50 pixel. So now you can see here a space it's represent. So that is the space that we called a edge space. You can see that is the space that we called a edge space. Like for example here I put a 50 pixel. For example now I get 100. You can see it's a double reflected. Here you can see again a 50% it's a left. Totally it is a 100 pixel. So that is the meaning of edge space, where you can horizontally put a space before the images. Now next that we have a V space. Again like same, we first go for 50 pixel. You can see here after the browser there is a no any space, but once I refresh you can see it's a put a space, so that we call a vertical. Also it put some space, so that is the concept of a V space. Like again I have to increase, so let's that we go for 100. Now you can see again it's a reflected, so that we have a two attribute. V space as well as the H space. And that is the first letter. It's represent that meaning horizontal as well as the V for vertical. Okay, there is one question, sir. Is a Mercutech applicable for the image? Yes, in a Mercutech you can use a image, but it's a advanced concept in a HTML. Yes, is there any questions from roll number 79? Hushain? Okay. So now last we have attribute that is for the align. Now the last attribute that is the align. Now in a align where you have a 5 input, top, middle, bottom, right and left. And that is a relation, or we can say with respect to a text. So now align the image in a relation to the text. It means whatever text that you represent into the browser, with respect to you can set your aligner like a top, middle, bottom, right as well as the left. These are the 5 input where you can set it for the align attribute. Like align equal to, we go for top. So now you can see that is the default output. Now if I apply a line top, then you can see that that is the syntax which represent here at the top most. So now after the refresh, you can see that that is a line which represent here. So it means with respect to a top, that also you can set a line. Now next that we have a middle. So now you can see exact center of or middle part of, sorry, a middle part of the image. You can see that reflected. Next that we have a bottom. So you can clearly see it's a bottom with respect to a image represent. Next that we have right. You can say image is shifted to a right hand side with respect to text. Same way that we have left. You can see the image is shifted into the left hand side. There is a one questions. So is it by default bottom right? No, it's a default top. Ayush, you can just only put a image in your web browser. So it's represent as a top, top left. So now any query in a attribute list of the image. Okay, that's why you are right. I use for bottom. Bottom right as well as the bottom left. Page questions. Sir, in align we are shifting image or text. We are shifted text with reference to a image. Okay, like we just remove a list of all. Okay, just we remove that all. So now here you can see the output. I only just assign the a line that is a left. It means it first set a image to a left hand side, and if I go for a right, so it's a set image to a right hand side. But in a top, middle, and bottom, so that is a respect to a text. So now you can see the default image, but font it's a represent into the top. Same way to like middle. So you can see the image are stable, but your font it will be a change. So now as per the questions from Shreya, top, middle, and bottom. So that is for the text, and right and left that is for the image. It means it's a vice versa in a relationship. It means a relation to a text to image and image to text. Now any other student have query regarding to image tag and that attribute? Good. So let's we move to another tag. Now the next tag that we have a unordered list as well as the order list. So list that is meaning we are aware about where sequence wise it's a represent. But now the list represent where we have a two method. One we call unordered list and second that is a order list. Now what is the difference between both order list and unordered list? Now here you can see the output of a unordered list. So it's a represent here a disk. That is the default output for the unordered list. Let's we go for the order list where you can see the here a sequence number 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is the difference between ordered list and unordered list, because in order list you get a sequence, but in unordered list here you not get a sequence, it's represent as a disk. So first of all you understand how the tag it's a representer. So it start from the UL and meaning of UL that is a unordered list. Then we have a tag LI. Now the meaning of LI that is a list of item where you have to represent it. So you can see the here I have write down roll number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that is the output how it's look like. So it's represent with a disk roll number 1, 2, 3, 4. Like we have one attribute in unordered list. You can represent disk, circle, and square as per your requirement. So let's we check for that output. You can clearly see the output. The unordered list, it's a represent, and it start from the disk. That is the default. So now, as I said, you can use a type attribute where you use like circle. So now you can see the output in change. It's represent the circle. And one more we have possible, that is a square. And that is the output for the square. So again I repeat, you default that is represented as a disk. You also change the type like a circle as well as the square. So that is the unordered list. Now any query in our unordered list? So let's we move to order list. So now full form of OL, so that we called a order list, where we have like inside the take again similar LI. Now the meaning of LI, that is a list of item where you have to represent it. Let's we take one example. Here I have represent like roll number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now you can see the output. It's represented to the sequence order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to continuous. Again, I repeat the starting tag, that is a OL, and meaning of OL, that is a order list. Where in this a subcategory where you get a LI, list of the item, and that again a closing tag OL. So now that is the output. You can see the here a sequence 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a generated, and previously you can see there is one questions from Ayush. Sir, LI has also closed tag, right? No. As we discussed in first lecture, there we have a few tag where it's not required that a closing tag. That only have a opening tag. In yesterday, sorry, last week lab where we see the one tag BR, break the line. So it not have any closing tag. Same way too, you can see the here LI. So that is not a required that a closing tag. It's only have a opening tag. Now, any other student have any queries? Now in order list, Again, we have one attribute, that is a type. Now in a type, you can represent five different way, like a small I, so that is the starting of the Roman letter. Then same way to capital I, so it's represented with the capital Rom letter. Then A, so it's represented into the small alphabet. Same capital A, so it's represented with a capital alphabet. And default, that is represented as a number. So that is the way where you can change your type in a order list. So let's we check for that output. So now you can see it's represent with a Roman number. So that is a small I. Like if you represent the capital letter for the Roman, so again it's a start from capital. If like you have to represent alphabet sequence, so we use a small h. It start from the small A, B, C, D, and continue. Same way too, you can also go for capital. You can see the capital letter also. And if you not use any, so it's a default which represent with a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that. Then we go for next attribute. So now any query in order list and unordered list. Now next that we have a definition list. Like for example, if you represent some definitions and that sorry, that informations, or we can say descriptions, so that also you represent with the use of the HTML tag. Here like we have a tag DL, that is for the definition list, and meaning of DT, that is a definition topic, okay, which a topic that you have to represent, and meaning of a DD, that topic descriptions where you have to represent here. Same way again that a closing tag it's a required. Again you have to task next topic, that descriptions, that again closing tag, as well as the DD tag also you have to require close. Net the last you have to close that definition list. So again I repeat the DL, that is the meaning of definition. Like you have to represent some definitions, so at that time you can use that tag, and that is the output how it's look like. So you can see that is the output for that DL, then DT, that topic name, DD regarding that descriptions. You can see it's look like topic, that description, and continue. You can represent it. Like for example, I have represent computer definitions. So now you can see that is the output. Computer, so an electronic machine that can store, find and arrange informations, calculate amount and control other machines. So that type of you can represent it, and that we call the definition list. Like here a computer, that definition, like another you have to go for that definition. You can that output represent here. Like you put also like that type of good representations. You can see that also reflected. It means after the dt whatever you have to write down, that same as it's represent into your browser, or we can say web browser. So now any query in a definition list? Okay, let's first I take the attendance and then we again continue over with remaining take. No one put your name in chat box. I already take from the screenshot. Then I also set the screen for your reference where you can verify your attendance also. Just wait for 2 minutes. So now these are the student present. Just check your screen. P, that is meaning of present. Roll number 79 to up to 91, and few are not new join, like 124, 125, 127, 130, and 132. I hope you are from all our A batch. Now these are the student present in a lab. So let's we move to another take. The next take that we have a table take. You can represent the table in your web browser also. And at that time, when you use a table take, you have to aware about two main point. One, that is only it's a represent row by row, and another point, that is a represent the information from left hand side to right hand side. Again I repeat, it's a represent row by row, as well as you have to represent that informations left to right hand side. Like for example, I have add a row in a table, then you have to use a take that we called a TR, table row. So now in a table take where you have to create that a specific row. Now in a row where you have to add a data, that's why we use the take TD, table data. Now whatever you write down inside the TD tag, that is represent into the your web browser. So now again I repeat, the table tag, sorry, you have to start a table, then you start TR for the table row. Inside the you have use a TD tag, then again you have to close a table row, as well as you have to close a table tag. So now you can see the output. I have used a table tag where I only create one row, table row, and inside I have represent a two table data, cell 1 and cell 2. So now you can see it's a represent left to right. Now for example, here I have created one another row, like second row I have to create it, where I have to represent like third and fourth cell data. So that's why I have to create one row. In this again to TD tag, where I have to represent that detail. So let's we check for that output. Okay, now you have to create a table with a two row. As we discussed, we again start the TR tag, then after to TD tag, where cell 3 and cell 4 informations that we have to represent it. So now you can see I have created a TR table row, and I have another also created a table row. So here you can see the output, the two cell it's added, cell 3 and cell 4. So that is the way where you can represent the table. Now here you can say without a border, it's not look like good output. So also we add a border in a table, then and then it's represent the actual meaning of the table. So here we have a attribute border is equal to like a, I have to set a 3. So that is a represent as a pixel. It means the 3 pixel size border it's a created. So that is the output. You can say it. It's a created border with a pixel size 3. Next, we have a attribute that we called a BG color. Now the meaning of BG that is a background color. So it means you can also create, sorry, you can also apply your background color into the table tag. Like for example, I write down a gray. So now you can see the entire table it's filled with a gray color. Same way to like we go for a green. So that is a green color. So that is the way where you can create a table also. Now we already discussed border as well as the that color where we also apply it. Now that is the last slide. Thank you. So that is from your practical 1 that we completed today. So now again I repeat, any query in a basic HTML tag, because today we completed our practical 1 and now the next week we move to into the practical 2. And as per the workshop subject, we have only 2 practical. I also have a question. Is chapter complete or only lecture? Chapter, I use first practical. It's completed as per the syllabus. Let's we just go for that syllabus. I hope that file is visible. That is your GTU syllabus file where you can go through in detail. So here you can get a software tool and OS command. So we have a 2 practical in workshop subject. The first today we completed. Student has built his own website consisting of basic profile. Basic profile means where you can add your photos, your detail, first name, middle name, last name, your date of birth, your interest, your hobby, etc. And your department detail with your personal informations as well as institute detail. So whatever take that essential that we all study from practical 1. There is a one question, should we have to make a note? No, in a workshop subject for specific for computer department, you have to not make any lecture note. I already upload a lab manual. Now in the next week, we start our practical 2 where we learn 2 basic OS regarding that detail. So now if you have any query, you can put your message in chat box. And again, I repeated the announcement. Saturday, I will share one link where you have to join a Google Class room regarding the workshop subject. where you have to submit your lab manual. So thank you, student. You can lab the meeting. We completed our lab sessions. Sir, don't know about lab manual. Can you give details? Yes, that regarding the lab manual discussions that I have discussed in a next lab. Don't worry regarding lab manual. I already uploaded a lab manual in a e-content, and that we discuss in next lab how you have to submit that lab manual. I already prepare it. You have to just change your name, enrollment number, and then you have to submit it. Yes, Hussein, you can ask what is your query. Just unmute yourself. Yes, you have any questions?
सर मतलब वो लैब मैन्युअल अपलोड तो किए पर आपने वो सबमिट कैसे कर ली वही मैं पूछ रहा हूँ
Yes,
मतलब कुछ लिखना
that I discuss in next lab. Don't worry.
ओके सर मतलब कुछ लिखना विखना नहीं
नहीं,
मतलब
कुछ लिखना
नाम और
नहीं,
उसके
कुछ
अलावा से डिटेल्स
नो 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 नो.
थैंक यू
Yes, Hussein, please ask your questions. Unmute yourself. Okay, thank you, student. You can left.